Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another film recap. Today, I'll be covering a 2024 horror thriller film titled Lowlifes. Before diving into the plot, I hope you're all having an amazing day. Now, let's jump right into the story. The film begins with a man, badly injured, desperately fleeing through the woods. He's clearly terrified as a dark figure chases him relentlessly. The scene then transitions to a cheerful family of four traveling in their camper van. They take a break to eat, and Keith, the father, fires up the grill to cook steaks. He ends up serving an undercooked one to his son, Jeff. Jeff happily takes it, but his sister Amy refuses to eat and decides to stretch her legs. Their mother, Kathleen, tries to explain Amy's behavior to Keith. Their peaceful time is suddenly disrupted when a pickup truck arrives carrying two strangers who introduce themselves as Billy and Vern. They claim they're looking for their cousin Melier, who disappeared the night before. Keith explains they're not from the area and haven't seen anyone. But Vern pushes the conversation, asking more questions about the family's home. Keith keeps a polite but guarded tone and doesn't reveal much. Trying to lighten the mood, Jeff offers them chocolate. But Vern proposes a trade with his own snacks. Vern takes a bite just as Amy returns, and both men stare at her in an unsettling way. They ask if she's seen Melier. Keith quickly tells Amy to head to the van and politely excuses them, saying they're short on time. The two strangers leave without incident. Feeling uneasy, Keith and his family pack up and prepare to head home right away. Sadly, their relief doesn't last long. They soon encounter the two men again. This time, the strangers claim their truck has broken down. Kathleen is immediately suspicious, especially when she sees Vern holding a shotgun. The men say the only local towing company is closed, and their only option is to call home for another vehicle. Since the family is headed past their town, the men ask for a ride. Sensing the tension over his gun, Vern suggests Keith just take Billy and leave him behind. Though Kathleen is visibly uneasy, Keith reluctantly agrees. They hit the road, with Billy joining them in the camper. He strikes up conversation with everyone and even plays a game with Jeff. But Kathleen remains unsettled. Billy talks casually about his home, where he lives with his uncle and cousins, assuring them they're all good people. Jeff unexpectedly attacks Billy. Shockingly, no one reacts. They stay calm, even as Billy begins to weaken. It's revealed that the family was actually responsible for Melia's disappearance the night before, for reasons yet to be explained. Meanwhile, one of Billy's cousins puts her weapon away, having completed her regular ritual. Back with the family, they go about dismembering Billy's body and storing the remains in their freezer, revealing their cannibalistic nature. Kathleen even hands Amy what looks like Billy's eyeball. Suddenly, Billy's phone rings and Keith crushes it, warning the family to hurry so they don't keep their host waiting. Elsewhere, Billy's uncle, known as Pa, sits down for dinner with Julie and Savannah, Billy's cousins. Soon, they hear a knock at the door. To their surprise, Keith and his family are standing there. Keith explains that Billy had sent them over after they helped him on the road. He claims their camper had issues, and Billy and Vern were out searching for Melia. Pa and the others welcome them inside. Keith asks to use the phone and is relieved to hear only Billy had one. But during dinner, Savannah questions why Billy didn't bring them home himself if he met them. Kathleen quickly responds, saying Billy was on foot, while Vern had taken the vehicle. The explanation raises red flags. The cousins grow suspicious and quietly ready their weapons. But before they can act, a huge man named Big Mac shows up for dinner. His intimidating presence forces them to put their weapons away for now. Meanwhile, Vern waits by the road, calling Billy repeatedly. Unaware his phone is destroyed. A car pulls up and Vern relaxes. But it's not Billy. It's the local deputy who has a history with Vern, once falsely accusing him. Vern tries to apologize and asks for a ride, but the officer refuses. Vern tells him a friendly family from LA picked up Billy, and he should be on his way back soon. The deputy leaves, though Vern's condition is worsening. Jeff had given him chocolate, laced with something that's making him sick. Back inside the house, Jeff offers his candy to the group. Julie takes 2 and shares one with Big Mac. Amy excuses herself, claiming she needs the restroom. Her nerves spike when she notices Savannah standing right outside the door. She drops the eyeball her mother had given her earlier. Despite the tension, Amy and Savannah quickly hit it off, welcomes everyone to the evening's activity, where Savannah impresses them with her piano performance. Afterward, Pa personally shows the couple to their guest room, while the girls lead Jeff to Billy's warmly decorated room. With the house full, Julie suggests Amy stay with Savannah, since she shares her room with Big Mac. She mentions it's no trouble, since Savannah isn't into men. Savannah later tucks Pa into bed, but admits she's a bit unsettled by how unusually nice their guests are. Pa jokingly wonders if she suspects the visitors plan to take them out one by one and set the house ablaze. Meanwhile, Kathleen confesses her unease to Keith. She never meant to harm good people. Her personal code only justified targeting those who were dangerous or a drag on society. But Keith reminds her of their mission, to eliminate unmotivated, harmful individuals, people they label as lowlifes. He explains how they travel far off the grid to find and save the underprivileged from their miserable lives. Keith then leaves the room to speak with Jeff, making sure he understands the plan and doesn't act impulsively. Keith divides the targets among them, warning Jeff to steer clear of Big Mac, who he'll handle personally. Outside, Vern, now certain that something awful has happened to Billy, begins walking to find him. Back inside, Savannah is taken aback when she sees Amy chatting on the phone with her partner Blair. Amy explains that she had a phone all along, but was conserving its battery. Julie is in the bathroom, vomiting from the effects of Jeff's tainted chocolate. Big Mac is also feeling sick and rushes out to throw up. Amy then shares that her mother supports her romantic choices. Though she hasn't told her strict father, family springs into motion. Keith quietly heads upstairs to confront Pa, while Jeff appears behind Big Mac. With swift strikes, he wounds the large man multiple times. At the same time, Amy offers Savannah a relaxing puff, saying it helps her unwind. Meanwhile, Jeff initially gains the upper hand in his fight, but is soon knocked down by Big Mac. Just as Mac is about to land a fatal blow, he's overwhelmed by nausea. Jeff takes the chance to silence him by blocking his throat, stopping him from throwing up. Keith, having reached Pa's room, he drags Jeff inside to scold him for not sticking to the plan. Kathleen rebukes Jeff for his reckless move, saying it could have gotten him killed. Still, Keith quietly praises his bravery and gives him Pa's tongue as a trophy. Elsewhere, Amy discreetly draws her blade. But as she prepares to strike, Savannah's unexpected kindness causes her to slip off the bed, accidentally cutting herself on her own weapon. She tells Savannah it's just for protection. Savannah, unfazed, As Savannah leaves to fetch more medical supplies, she hears strange noises from another room and freezes, puzzled, surprised to see the family's camper nearby. After Keith and Kathleen step off it, the girl goes in for a look out of curiosity. But it doesn't take long before she comes across Big Max, the eyeball Amy dropped earlier, which shocks her to the core. She immediately staggers her way to Pa's room, only to be terrified by his state. Keith suddenly grabs her for Kathleen to get a share. Jeff joins them, courtesy of Keith, to witness her hesitant mum doing it for the first time, but is abruptly cut short as an arrow swooshes through her neck. Here, Savannah successfully takes one down with her skills and prepares to take down the evil family. So the family stays away from the window. Seeing her mother dead, Amy screams at her father and claims that these people aren't drifters or street trash. To seek vengeance, Keith ties Julie up and hurts her. The marksman sneaks through the window into her bedroom, where she luckily finds Amy's phone. She immediately calls for help, but barely gives all the details as Jeff overhears her and approaches the room. The deputy sheriff who received the call tells his superior that Amy's phone number and area code are from Los Angeles. He recalls Vern telling him that a kind family from LA gave Billy a lift. On the other hand, Savannah easily knocks Jeff down. She uses him to negotiate her sister's release afterwards. However, Keith vows to end her sister, and Amy begs her to let go of Jeff. Keith, the sadistic patriarch, begins preparing a gruesome meal, Big Mac's tongue, and sarcastically asks Julie if the scent seems familiar. To make his point clearer, he casually tosses Big Mac's severed arm onto the table, horrifying both women. Keith, enraged by their defiance, lashes out. With chilling calm, he slices off Julie's thumb and eats it right in front of them. As if that weren't enough, he turns his attention to Savannah, planning to dismember her skilled fingers. Just as he's about to act, Savannah blurts out that Amy had slept with her. Savannah finds the opportunity she needs. She quickly grabs a fork and jams it into Keith's eye. Amy, startled, moves in response, only to witness Keith, unfazed by the injury, eat his own eyeball in front of them. Suddenly, Vern arrives at the house and fires at Keith, temporarily disabling him. But Jeff quickly appears and rushes to defend his father. Amid the chaos, Savannah finds herself going head-to-head with Jeff, leading him to the kitchen, where she burns his hand and scalds his face with boiling water. As he weakens from the pain, Savannah applies pressure to his neck, killing him. But Julie, who is now free, gets the chance to give Keith a deep haircut. Following this, the poor sisters finally get a sigh of relief, but they soon realize it's not over as Amy rises up and fatally stabs Julie. An enraged Savannah goes after Amy, brutally fights her to the ground and smashes her face against the piano. However, she allows for an epic last dance by making it slow and painful and urging her to run. But as Savannah is about to end the nightmare, Savannah is killed by the idiot deputy sheriff who has just arrived. The deputy is misled by the scene. He feels bad for the guests who seem to have been treated badly by their hosts. He immediately calls for medical help and reports to headquarters that the villagers killed the innocent tourist family. Moments later, the deputy hears a racket and sets out to investigate it, leading him to the family's camper. And then all of a sudden, now free, the psycho girl then goes on to torch the house. The movie ends as Amy sets out in her family's camper, with evil still rushing through her bloodstream. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.